Hi guys, this is Beth's Kitchen in downtown Silver Spring, Lemon Slice Cafe. Welcome back to my channel. Today we're gonna make an ingredient that you can use in so many different ways in Ethiopian cooking. It's called niter kibbeh, and it's a clarified butter, but it's not just a clarified butter, it's a seasoned clarified butter, and we use it to make kutfo, aybe, and we put it in so many different dishes. It's a very important ingredient in Ethiopian cooking, and we never eat raw butter for some reason. I've never seen anybody use raw butter. We always clarify it. One of the reasons I think is once you clarify the butter, you get rid of all the water, the milky particles from it, so it preserves longer. And two, it would have a higher cooking temp. You know, you can cook it in a higher, it cooks better in a heat, so it doesn't burn. So, anyways, today I'll show you how to make a clarified butter, Ethiopian style. Kibbeh is one of the main ingredients in Ethiopian kitchen, and every woman makes it her own way. In my home, my mom always used 3 ingredients to clarify a butter. Korerima, which is an Ethiopian cardamom. It's not the green cardamom. They almost look like black paper, but black little pods. We use coseret. It's a herb, which I haven't found in America, so I always have it imported. Or I go to one of the Ethiopian groceries in Silver Spring and get it, which is not very difficult. There are so many Ethiopian groceries. We're lucky to live around here. And a little bit of turmeric. Turmeric gives it color, as well as I think it helps preserve the butter, and so that it stays longer. Okay, so first thing first, I'm melting a pound of butter in a pot here, which you have to be very careful and make sure that it's in a low heat, because there is a fine line between burning and melting. So you have to make sure that it is in a low heat, nicely melting. And here I have a pan, and I'm gonna toast the cardamom, the Korerima, in here. And you don't have to like really make it, you just want to heat it up so that you wake up all the smell and the flavor in it. And once you start smelling it, it's ready. Once the butter is melted, we will grind the Korerima and we will put it in. And once that's cooked, we will put in the herb. And once the herb's in, we'll put a little bit of the turmeric, and then we'll strain it. And then you can leave it outside, and because all the milk, the water particles are out, so it's pure butter, so you can just leave it outside. Nothing's gonna happen to it for days. You can keep it in the refrigerator, or you can keep it in the freezer, and it stays even longer. So I can smell this beautiful spice. The aromas are awakened. So yeah, so I chose just to put in 3 ingredients, like I told you. Usually people only use this 3 ingredient for kutfo. But other people, for sauces and that kinds of stuff, people put in onion, people put in nigella seed, bishop seed, ginger, garlic, turmeric. I mean, a lot. You can put in a lot of spice and spice it up. But I choose to do it this way, and I can always add in the other spices to the dishes that I cook. So I don't do that. And the other thing is if you want to create more flavor in the butter, what I would do is I would put the butter in a pan and I would leave it there for 24 hours, maybe 36, 48 hours. The butter will start to ferment a little bit, and that means it's flavor. So, and then I will melt it and season it and clarify it. And that will give you a different flavor for sure. All right, let me do this. So here I have the Korerima in my spice grinder, and I will grind it. So you use Korerima to make kibbeh, to put it in stews, and but for the purpose of clarifying a butter, you don't have to make it extremely fine. If it's coarse, that's good enough. Let me do it one more time. All you want to do is you want to break up that hard shell and crack it up so that all the flavor can come out. Oop, it's hot. And I say this is good. It's nicely melted. And like, oh, look at that beautiful color. And then we can put this in. And then I will just let it cook slowly until all this foam is gone away. And when that foam is gone, I will add the turmeric and the coseret, which is a herb that we use to clarify a butter, and also to give it this distinct, beautiful taste, smell, and flavor. And once that's done, we will strain it in a fine mesh. So while this beautiful butter is melting and cooking, I'm going to show you how to make an Ethiopian cheese. The butter and the cheese always go together, and then I will show you how to make a small appetizer out of it. So here I have a gallon of milk, and I'm going to heat it up to a 180, 185 degrees. I don't want it to boil, but I want it to be warm enough. And once it gets to that point, what I will do is I will add acid. So in my case, I usually use clear vinegar. You can also use lemon, or you can use some acid powders. But I love using, I tried them all, but I chose the vinegar. The vinegar doesn't have that much taste, and leave nothing behind. You know, when I first start making this, I used to buy buttermilk, and we used to put it in the stove, and we will cook it all day, and you worry about it, and it was just a hustle. And then I figured out that you can do it quick, and the way I do it is I would heat the milk to just before boiling. You don't want it boiled, just to a temperature, just like, you know, when it's about to boil. And I would use, for a gallon of milk, I'd use a cup of clear vinegar. I will put the vinegar in a container like this, and then I will put the heated milk on top of the vinegar, and then you will see what happens when I do that. So it's nice and warm, So I'm just gonna put it in here. And here, you can already see that the milk, the vinegar separated the milk from the whey. The whey is that yellowish, watery part that you're gonna get rid of, and then the cheese is curdled already. And it's done. I will leave this for about 10 minutes, and once that happens, I will drain it into a strainer, and then I will hang it, and then you have your cheese done. Easy, not too much work. Okay, now my butter is nicely heating over here and cooking, and at this point I would put in the coseret, the herb. What I would do is I would just crush it with my fingers and put it in like this. Oh, that herb, when I crush it between my fingers, smells heavenly. Nice. So for 1 pound butter, I put in half a cup of Korerima, the Ethiopian coriander, and then half a cup of coseret. And then I will cook it a little bit longer, and I will add the turmeric in it. Like I said, turmeric back home is used, I used to think turmeric is used for color, but I figured out lately that it has so many medicinal properties in it. And you know, in the old days, you know, like our cooking is 1,000 years old, and people figured out what's good for them, so they put all the good things in their food and eat it as a preventative medicine. So there's turmeric, and everything that doesn't have any chili powder in our cooking will have a little turmeric in it, which helps it stay longer, and which gives it a longer shelf life, because there was no refrigeration. So this cooking really nicely. What I'm gonna do is, look, it's already separated, and there's really nothing you can do, so you can just scoop this goodie out and then put it under a cheesecloth on a strainer. So seriously, like if you like Aybe, which is Ethiopian cheese, you can make it in less than an hour. So easy. And then I'll show you what to do. I mean, you can eat it the normal way that you normally eat it, but I will show you a nice appetizer that you can use when you have friends over or anything like that. I mean, I can strain this and get more out of it, but I think it's enough for now. And I will let this strain more. And don't forget your butter, keep an eye on it. Like I told you, there is a fine line between a burnt butter and a clarified butter. So you really don't want to burn it. And trust me, it's not fun to do this. Use unsalted butter. I usually use the pure grass-fed butter, like the Irish butter, but you can use the salted one if you have that. It's no big deal. I don't like using anything salted because I can always salt things. If you already buy something that with salt in it, you know, somebody else already made a decision how much the salt is. So use unsalted, so that way you can salt it yourself. This is almost done, and with the cheese, what we want to do is, what I would do is I will just put the spatula in there, and I will tie it like this. And like this, and then I'll just hang it so that it can drain all the way out, the liquidy part out, and then you ended up with the cheese part. And I'll just let it drain for another few minutes until it's ready. Okay, I think we're ready here for the turmeric to go in. I would say like a 1/4 teaspoon of turmeric will do the trick here. All right, guys, look at this beautiful butter. I already turned the heat off. It's done. It's beautiful. I don't want to take it any further from this. This is just, look, all the foam is gone. It looks nicely seasoned and flavored. And I'll let it cool a little bit, and then I will strain it and show you that pure gold. Okay. So once this cools down, I'll get some cheese, and I will put the butter to the cheese. I will season it with a little hot chili powder, mitmita, and then we'll spread it in a little French toast and make a crostini and drizzle it with a little mitmita on top. That's an appetizer that you can do if you have a party at your house, or you can take it somewhere, but that's something that you can enjoy that I'll show you. You can toast a little injera on a pan, and then you can sprinkle a little butter and make atenya. And that's also something that we always eat growing up. Whenever they make a big batch of butter at the same time, and they use it for like 2-3 months. So you buy a big quantity of butter. It comes in, it's like a butter day. Like, they will sit down and they'll do all the spices, they clarify the butter, and then it gets into jars, and then you use that on a daily basis for your cooking. So it's not something that, you know, it's every house make its own. And then whenever they make that, usually they make injera and they put a little berbere awaze and butter on top of it. Sometimes sprinkle it with a little cheese, and it's so delicious. So we'll do a little taster maybe, why not? So as you can see, all the milk particles have separated from the batter, and the clear batter is on top, and all the spices and the milk and the watery part is at the bottom. So I'm gonna strain this clear batter into this, and you can see the clear butter coming up. Look, as you can see, all the spices, the milky particles are left here, and you have all the good butter on that side. So once that cools down, you can put that in a jar, and you can use it as you like on a regular basis. So what I would do is I'll take a little butter, and then drizzle it with berbere. plate. See, it's nice and crispy and buttery. I'll just add one more layer because it's nice and buttery. I mean, make it your way. Like I always say, it doesn't have to be like everybody else does it. Make my own cutting this way. Just nothing wrong with it. And put a little barbary. And I think that's good. And look at that. Look at that crispy part. And knife. I'll just cut it with this. Honestly, you can serve that as an appetizer. It looks beautiful and yummy. This is just good. So that's how you clarify your butter. I took a little bit of the clarified butter, and this is what cheese is gonna look like once you drain all the watery part out of it. And what I will do is I will put a little bit of that in the butter. Imagine the cheese, the butter to the cheese. So like, okay, it starts with a really creamy milk, and out of that creamy, the cream, you make butter, and out of the butter, whatever's left out of the butter, you make cheese, and then you make full circle and you put the butter back into the cheese, and then you spice it up. And I will put a little mitmita, a very spicy hot chili powder, and then I will mix that. Oh my goodness, this is a delicious mix, guys. You can also finely chop parsley and mix it with the butter and the cheese, so it gives you that green and white mixture for variety. But you can do that. So you can slice a French toast and toast it in the oven a little bit, and then you can put a little bit of that in there. And use it as an appetizer. Or you can also put it in a dish like this. You can also put it like this, and then you can use it as a dip. You can use it as a dip, you can use it as an appetizer with French toast, or you can put it on a cracker. And then you can also put it inside an injera, spread it out like this. Like I said, you can put a little gomen or parsley for color, so it will be white and green. Or just like this, you can cut this fancy sideways like this. And then you can put them on your platter and serve them like this. So out of that beautifully clarified butter, we made 3 appetizers for you. One is we sliced the French toast We toasted it in the oven for just a little bit, and then we topped it with the aybe, the cheese, and the butter mixture, and sprinkled it with a little mitmita. Here I have katenya, which is a toasted injera with berbere and butter. And here is the aybe and mitmita mix with the butter. I spreaded it into the injera, rolled it, cut it, and served that way. You can garnish this with a little mitmita, and you can garnish this with a little aybe. And here you go. Thank you so much for joining us. I hope you try this easy but delicious recipes. And please comment and see if you want me to do something special. I would. Share, subscribe, like, do everything and support us. If you're in town, stop by. Thank you again for joining us. This is Bethlehem Johannes from a Lemon Slice Cafe. Thank you. Bye.